Imagine this. You've worked your whole life, saved every penny, and finally bought your dream home. You're standing in your own driveway, proud, holding the keys that prove it's yours. And then a stranger storms up, points at you, and says, "You don't belong here. Pack your bags. I'm getting you evicted." Crazy, right? But what if I told you that stranger wasn't a random neighbor, she was the president of the HOA? And what she didn't know was that the woman she was threatening wasn't a tenant. She wasn't a visitor. She wasn't squatting, she was the legal owner of the house. This isn't just a story about a power-hungry HOA president. It's about what happens when arrogance, prejudice, and pride collide in front of an entire community. Today, we're diving into the shocking story of how one HOA president, let's just call her Karen, tried to evict a black woman from her own home. What started as petty harassment on the sidewalk turned into a neighborhood spectacle, and by the end of it, the entire community was forced to decide what kind of place Willow Lane was going to be. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one woman's humiliation. This story is about power, assumptions, and the way rules can be twisted when the wrong person is in charge. So let's break it down, from the first encounter, to the dramatic HOA meeting, to the moment the truth came out and changed everything. Willow Lane was the kind of neighborhood people bragged about. Clean yards, perfectly painted shutters, flowers blooming in straight lines. But behind that pretty picture, the HOA. And in Willow Lane, the HOA wasn't just a group of neighbors making sure things stayed nice. No, it was a throne. And the one sitting on it was Karen. Karen had been HOA president for 5 years. She loved the title. She loved the power. And she loved using it. Neighbors whispered about her, but no one ever stood up to her, because they knew she had the authority to fine them, to harass them, even to drag them into court if she wanted. And then came Maya. Maya was 32 years old. She grew up in a working-class family. She wasn't given anything for free. She worked 2 jobs through college. She paid off her debts. And after years of saving, she finally had enough to buy her dream home. For her, Willow Lane wasn't just a house. It was proof that all the sacrifice, all the nights of eating ramen, all the hours of overtime, it was worth it. But the moment she moved in, she learned something. In Willow Lane, the real challenge wasn't keeping up with the mortgage. It was dealing with Karen. It was the first day Maya moved in. Boxes stacked on the porch. Her brother helping unload the U-Haul. And then, without a hello, without even a smile, Karen appeared. Clipboard in hand. Arms crossed. Karen said, "Excuse me. Tenants aren't allowed here without approval. You need to stop unloading and leave." Maya was stunned. She thought maybe it was a misunderstanding. She told Karen, calmly, "I think you're mistaken. I'm not a tenant. I bought this home." But Karen didn't believe her. She smirked and said, "Right. I'll be checking into that. You'll be hearing from me." And then she walked away. At first, Maya laughed it off. Maybe this was just some nosy neighbor. But within days, she realized it was bigger than that. Karen started knocking on doors. Telling other neighbors that Maya didn't belong. That she was just renting. That she was bringing down the neighborhood. She started writing violation letters. Claiming Maya's trash can was left out too long. Saying her car was parked wrong. Even accusing her of having too many visitors. One neighbor later admitted that Karen would walk around with her phone out, snapping pictures of Maya's house every time she stepped outside. Maya tried to stay calm. She told herself, "I have the paperwork. I own this home. She can't actually evict me." But then she got a letter. An official-looking envelope with the HOA's seal on it. Inside, it said she had 30 days to vacate. Can you imagine? You've spent your life working for something. You finally have it. And now someone's telling you to leave. And if you think that's shocking, wait until you hear what happened at the HOA meeting. Click here, you won't believe the twist that had the whole room gasping. Maya knew she couldn't ignore it anymore. So she gathered everything, her deed, her mortgage paperwork, proof of ownership. She wasn't just going to defend herself. She was going to expose Karen. But here's the problem. Karen wasn't just one woman with a clipboard. She had influence. She had friends on the board. She controlled the narrative. At one point, Karen even told the mail carrier not to deliver mail to Maya's house, claiming the property was vacant. And this wasn't just harassment. It was humiliation. Maya's neighbors looked at her differently. Some whispered. Some avoided her. She could feel the weight of judgment every time she walked outside. And yet, Maya stayed calm. She stayed patient. Because she knew. Sooner or later, the truth would come out. Finally, the monthly HOA meeting arrived. And this was the night everything would come to a head. The room was packed. Neighbors filled the chairs. Karen stood at the front like a queen addressing her court. She cleared her throat, held up her clipboard, and said, "We have a serious issue. The tenant has moved into Willow Lane without proper approval. This is a violation of our rules, and I am moving to have her evicted." The neighbors murmured. Some nodded. Some frowned. Karen kept going. She listed out violations. She talked about property values. She said, "If we don't act now, this community will fall apart." And then, Maya stood up. Calm. Silent at first. Then she said one sentence that changed everything. "I own that home." The room went silent. Karen laughed nervously. "No, you're mistaken. I've already checked." But before she could finish, Maya pulled out a folder. Inside. Her deed, her mortgage statements, her proof of ownership. She laid them on the table in front of everyone. "This," she said, "is my house. I paid for it. I live there. And no one, not you, not this board, not anyone, can tell me I don't belong." The neighbors leaned in. They looked at the papers. They looked at Karen. And suddenly, the power shifted. For years, Karen had ruled through fear. But now, exposed in front of everyone, her authority crumbled. One neighbor spoke up. "She's right. She owns it." Another added, "This isn't fair. You've gone too far." And just like that, Karen was no longer the voice of power. She was the subject of whispers. The board members voted. And by the end of the night, Karen wasn't president anymore. So what's the lesson here? It's bigger than just one HOA president being humiliated. It's about how assumptions, especially those mixed with prejudice, can destroy trust. It's about how rules can be abused when the wrong people are in charge. And it's about how important it is to stand up for yourself, even when you feel outnumbered. Because Maya could have given up. She could have let the harassment continue. But she didn't. She fought back with the truth. And in the end, the entire community learned that leadership isn't about control, it's about fairness. Subscribe if you think Karen got what she deserved. Do you think the HOA went too far? Should Karen have faced legal charges for harassment? What would you have done if this happened to you?